Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. My name is Ina and today we will dive into the mesmerizing world of Catasetum orchids, and specifically we will talk about the Catasetum pileatum, this beauty that's here with me. If you're curious to know a little bit more about Catasetum, stay here and let's dive in and explore this together. Catasetum orchids were discovered in the 19th century and they captivated the world with their exquisite flowers, the wild-shaped flowers with different colors, and specifically their fascinating reproductive system. The way that they pollinate their flowers are very unique, and you know how scientists are and how important pollination is. So that's one of the factors that people were really attracted to when talking about Catasetum. Now, talking about the pileatum, this amazing orchid is from the tropical forests that range from Trinidad to Amazonia in Brazil. It used to be the Venezuelan symbol, and then it was replaced by Cattleya, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So usually this Catasetum can be found in low elevation forests with a high temperature and humidity, very high humidity, all over the year. One of the most amazing things about the Catasetum pileatum is these very tall pseudobulbs. Usually pseudobulbs, they are mechanisms that Catasetums will use to store water and nutrients. The Catasetum pileatum, when they start to maturing this new pseudobulb, it will become extremely tall. It can reach like 16 centimeters tall. I think mine is even taller than that. And will push out this beautiful foliage and will become a very tall plant. So be aware if you don't have space. Maybe Catasetum is not for you, but if you do have space and you like exotic plants, Catasetum is the perfect addition for you. The pseudobulb is not only important for the Catasetum pileatum, but it's also important for all other plants from the Catasetinae family. Because these pseudobulbs, these structures, it's the structures that will make these plants survive challenging situations and challenging environments. In the case of the pileatum specifically, it has a very short dry season, which makes this plant able and capable of maturing new growths all over the year and also blooming in different seasons. However, some Catasetums, and I have an example here that I'm going to show you during rethinking, is this plant that is from the Catasetum family. This one will very often shade its leaves when one pseudobulb is mature and will push out a new growth. So, while the new growth is not matured yet, the old pseudobulb will keep water and nutrients while it's maturing the new growth. If you don't know, Catasetum orchids can survive without any leaf, just with a bulb for a while, until one eye is warm and start pushing out a completely new growth. So when you're repotting your Catasetum, you can cut down all of the old roots and wait for the plants to push out new roots, and then a completely new growth. In the case of this one here, I have one new growth here that is now full of roots, and I have a tiny new growth coming from the back that I didn't expect to have, so I might have a beautiful bloom show, who knows. In the case of this beauty here, it doesn't shade the leaves very often, it only shaded it once for me, and it kept growing non-stop. So the Catasetum pileatum can have a variety of colors and different varieties as well, ranging from green to orange, whites. Mine, I think, is the common or is the green variety. I cannot pull the tag. I will add the full name down here. But the flowers are huge. If I compare to my hand, I mean, compared to many phalaenopsis and stuff like that, I would say that it's like maybe 15 centimeters across, which is pretty large. So it's probably a male flower. A curiosity about Catasetums is that some species will have female and male flowers together, and some will have them separately, and then you can have different patterns with these flowers as well. So, talking about it, one very important trick of these orchids is their pollination. As I said in the beginning, pollination is something that attracts people to be very interested in the world of Catasetum. The pileatum employs a unique method of pollination known as explosive pollination. The male Euglossini bees, it's one type of bee, if I'm not mistaken, it's a black one, will be attracted to the powerful fragrance emitted by the flowers. Then will land on the flower's lip, and this will trigger a mechanism that will catapulting the pollinia onto the bee's body, facilitating pollination. And this method is not only unique for this type of Catasetum, but for other Catasetums as well. Talking about growth and care, this Catasetum will do well inside our home environment if we provide intermediate temperature all year round. But we have to remember that these are hot-growing orchids. So, when we are looking after it, we have to remember that these orchids will mature a new pseudobulb very fast during one season, and will need to push out new leaves as well and new roots. So it's a heavy feeder type of orchid. You need to pay attention to fertilizing and watering, especially during the growth season, because now that push out this beautiful flower spike, it's pushing out a new one here from the base and is drinking water like nothing. And I mainly pot my Catasetums with moss and a little bit of bark because they will need the humidity while they are growing, and I also fill the pot with slow-release fertilizer, which helps these plants to grow and mature and to bloom for me as well. What I noticed specifically with this plant is that when I was offering growing lights, but the growing lights were not strong enough, it didn't bloom. I needed to change its position to a stronger light, then it was able to push out flower spikes. So you need to have some bright light available because this plant will need it in order to bloom. And again, you cannot forget to fertilize it very, very often. It will help you to acquire beautiful blooms. So, since I've already covered how I pot up these Catasetums, how I grow them, the only thing that I can tell you is it has been a long time since I felt this excited about some orchid blooms. I know these ones are not the most common or the orchids that we see everywhere, but if you find it for a good price, if you have it available in your region, and if you love orchids, try Catasetum. I don't think you will regret. I think these flowers are gorgeous. They are different and they warm up my day. I'm so happy to have this beauty in bloom, and I'm so glad that I'm doing well, that both of my Catasetums are growing, sprouting new growths and new flower spikes. And if you are a beginner, you can definitely start trying some Catasetums, but I would advise you to watch some tutorials beforehand and research the species that you are acquiring. And if you are an orchid enthusiast, if you're already growing orchids, why not try a Catasetum? I don't think you will regret. I hope you enjoy seeing these beautiful green and yellow blooms. Please subscribe to my channel, leave a comment down below, let me know if you have any Catasetums, and I hope to see you next time. Bye bye!